Today we're going to be looking at Assassin's Creed Syndicate on the PS4 and the Potato Masher. In case you don't know, the Potato Masher is a $350 PC custom built in December of 2014 and designed to compete against the PS4 for the remainder of its life cycle. The goal is not to make fun of consoles, but to show that PC gaming can be just as affordable and just as good, or better, than a console. It's a project run by the Casual Shenanigans Gaming podcast, so click the link on screen if you want to check that out. There's also an FAQ video if you want to know more about the Potato Masher. Let's get to it! The PS4 runs Syndicate at 900p and 30 FPS. I don't generally like to run the Potato Masher under 1080p, as that is a very standard PC resolution and is the target that both current-gen consoles aim for. At 1080p, I played the initial sections of Syndicate with everything on high settings on the Potato Masher. It appeared to be running pretty well, but as soon as I stepped outside, the game started stuttering and slowing down. I dialed the settings back to medium and it ran fine again, so medium is where I left it for the comparison. That might sound worse than the Potato Masher normally handles games, but the Anvil engine the game is built on is very demanding. Last year's Assassin's Creed Unity had numerous performance issues on every platform. Most of them appear to have been fixed this year, but the game still doesn't run very well. It does look pretty good on the Potato Masher though. The PS4 version suffers from a muddy look to some of its textures. The main characters appear to have much lower resolution textures, even though the backgrounds look very similar. Some textures on the PS4 look just as good as the Potato Masher, while others are very blurry and ugly. The same is true for the shadows. The shadow resolution on the PS4 seems to be about on par with the Potato Masher, but not as many objects actually have shadows and they don't load at the same distances. Likewise, the PC version of the game appears to have more bloom lighting and specular highlights. That, coupled with the game running at a native 1080p, do make the PC version look noticeably crisper and prettier. I assume that there was a lot of custom optimization that was done to the PS4 version to keep the frame rate steady, and it did appear to work. Still, 900p and 30 FPS only 2 years into a console's lifecycle is not very promising. The Potato Masher doesn't meet Syndicate's 6GB RAM requirement, but it ran fine. The memory was full most of the time, so I do think the game probably would benefit some from more RAM. We know that a RAM upgrade is coming for the Potato Masher at some point. The last few months of game releases have showed an uptick in actual RAM usage in quite a few games, although most still continue to run fine on 4GB. Syndicate is a pretty good looking game, but the Potato Masher definitely has an edge in both resolution and visuals. This section will be short. The Potato Masher bottlenecked before it could reach 60 FPS. It was difficult to hit this target with previous Assassin's Creed games, and it's no different here. On very low settings, the frame rate struggled to do any better than 45 FPS. Even dropping the resolution all the way down to 720p didn't lock the game at 60, although it was much closer most of the time. The visuals really started to suffer though, so I wouldn't seriously consider running the game like this. At very low settings, the Potato Masher was playable at 1440p. However, the sacrifices in texture pop-in, shadows, lighting, and many other aspects of the visuals were pretty bad. Also, the frame rate dipped into the low 20s enough times that I wouldn't say that the game performed acceptably at anything above 1080p. On the surface, this is a disappointing result for the Potato Masher. While it did better than the PS4 in every category, it couldn't hit 60 FPS or 1440p, and usually it can. If the PS4 and Potato Masher are both pushed pretty hard for Syndicate, I'm interested to see how next year's Assassin's Creed game looks and runs. I'm honestly worried that the Anvil engine is too demanding for this application and that future games will have to make even more drastic compromises. Only time will tell, and I'll of course do my best to evaluate the games when they get here. If you enjoyed this video, check out the Casual Shenanigans Gaming podcast, the FAQ video, or look in the description for a link to the original build video. There will be a special video in the next month or so that looks back at the first year of the Potato Masher and lays out our plan for its future. Until then, let me know in the comments section what games you'd like me to see next. A few awesome subscribers have volunteered their accounts so I can test a few games that I don't own, so expect to see Rainbow Six Siege, Just Cause 3, and Star Wars Battlefront in the next few weeks. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.